So just 1 minute. Okay. So in last class we have discussed about the execution engines. Okay, how many execution engines we are having? So there are three types. So one is interpreters, second is compilers, and third is assemblers. Okay. So among those things, so assemblers are not in usage. So only compilers and interpreters are in usage. So what is compiler? Yeah, yeah, it is an execution engine for object-oriented programming languages, which is translating the code, which source code in from human level language or high level language into machine level of language in a single step. So it is having two times, which is called where one is compile time and other is runtime. Okay. So what is compile time? So whenever the source code is first, the source code is sent for sent for compiling. So in whenever the execution engine is a compiler, so first we need to after finishing our coding, the source code document has to be compiled first. Okay, at the time of compile time, okay, in the compile time, so interpreter inside the compiler is also having an interpreter inside it. So the interpreter so validates the code line by line, validates the code in line by line, and it prepares a report whether each and every line is having the is perfect with the coding and syntactical formats. If any error is there, that was reported by the interpreter, and at the end of compile time, the interpreter will provide this report to the compiler. And if there are no errors or mistakes inside a code, then the compiler will prepare a intermediate file which is called as compiled file. Clear? So this is compiled file. So whenever the source code is converted into the compiled file, nothing but of the generation of binary bits, and it was converted into binary code. Then the compiled file is set for running. And after the compile time, so in compilers we are having runtime. After the compile file that is set for running, so it will provide output. Okay, so we cannot run the program which is not generated with the compiled file in a whenever the execution engine is compiler. Okay, that means so there is no partial execution of the code is possible in compilers. Okay, so this is about compilers, and coming to the interpreters. Okay, so what is interpreter? An interpreter is a execution engine for the programming language which was derived from the scripting languages. Okay, so what is an scripting language? It will convert the high level code into the machine level of code in a line by line format. It is having only runtime, and so partial execution is possible in interpreters, a programming language which is supported by interpreters. Okay, so and also so when the interpreter will stop, that means so whenever the interpreter identifies an error, from there onwards the remaining code is not sent for validation. So the interpreter's execution will stop at that point itself. That means so we can get only one errors when we run the code using of interpreters. Okay, clear? So what was the example for compilers? Means the example for compilers is, so it was a Java programming language, and only one example that we are aware of. Okay, so the example for um, interpreter is Python. Compiler is for Java and for Python. So are you clear about this part? Okay, so and today we'll start with the definition of Python. What is it Python and all? We will start with the definition of Python, and so we'll discuss what are the points we should discuss whenever we are asked with the Python definition. Okay, so what is Python? Python. So in the last class, I have mentioned you that so Python is derived from scripting languages. Okay, so and also in pre-class I have created, it was a high level language. Why it was high level language? As it is as the commands or keywords inside Python are similar to the human, somewhat similar and near to the human level of language. That's why the Python is also called high level language. Okay. So when we are coming with the definition of Python, Python is a high level language.
Sorry to disturb you. Screen is not.
Screen is not visible. Huh? Okay. Uh, Sorry for the inconvenience. I will try of sharing it again. So are you visible? Right?
Yes.
Hello. So
Yes.
can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Python is a high level language. Okay, and it is a interpreted language. We can say it is interpreted language, right? Okay, just because it was derived from the scripting language family, so the execution inside Python is interpreter. So as it was executed with the interpreter, so can we state it is a interpreted language? Yes, you can state it as a interpreted language. It is a high level language and interpreted. Okay, so interpreted, and I have mentioned that the Python is a user friendly language. Why it is user friendly? Why? Because it was derived to be user friendly. So the main purpose of deriving Python is to present a user friendly language for the end users or nothing but of so customers who are willing to work with some programming language. Okay. సో ఎవరైతే ఒక ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ తో వర్క్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ఒక ఈజీగా ఉండే ఒక ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ని సో ప్రొవైడ్ చేయడానికి మనకి పైథాన్ అనే ఆ ఇంటెన్షన్ తోనే పైథాన్ డెరైవ్ చేశారు కాబట్టి సో పైథాన్ ఈజ్ ఏ సో యూజర్ ఫ్రెండ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్. User friendly language. Okay. So in the last class, I have mentioned one more point about the scripting languages. What is the specialty of scripting languages? So dynamic coding. So have I mentioned in the last class? So scripting, the specialty of scripting languages. So there is also one meaning that why Python is derived from the scripting languages. Okay, as I said, so Python is a user friendly language. Okay, so if user friendly language, it was derived to provide a user friendly language. సో ఒక యూజర్ ఫ్రెండ్లీ లాంగ్వేజ్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలంటే అందులో ఉన్న సింటెక్స్ కూడా చాలా ఈజీగా ఉండాలి కదండి. సో జస్ట్ ఫర్ దట్ పర్పస్, సో టు ప్రొవైడ్ ద ఈజీ సింటెక్చువల్ ఫార్మేట్స్, ఓకే, అండ్ టు మేక్ ద కోడర్స్ ఈజీ టు మేక్ దేర్ కోడింగ్ ఆపరేషన్స్. సో ఎవరైతే కోడింగ్ చేయాలనుకున్నారో వాళ్ళ కోడింగ్ కూడా ఈజీగా ఉండాలి కదండి. కోడింగ్ కష్టంగా ఉంటే మనకు కష్టంగా, ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ కష్టమే కదా. ఓకే, టు మేక్ టు మేక్ దమ్ to make the okay to make coders or to sorry to make coders to perform their works more easier. Okay, they have selected the scripting language family. Why? Because the specialty of scripting language family is so dynamic coding. So I will explain what is dynamic coding and all. Okay, so in the last class I have explained with your Java example and Python example. Okay, so today I will explain so why it was dynamic. So how can we say a programming language is dynamic programming? I will explain with an example to that for that thing. Okay, so as it was derived from the scripting language which is having a dynamic coding, so can we say it is a dynamic programming language? Yes, we can say it is a dynamic programming language. Dynamic programming language. Okay, so it is a high level, interpreted, user friendly, dynamic programming language. Okay, which is derived from which is derived from scripting languages. Okay, which is derived from scripting languages. Okay, so as I said, scripting language is the one of the family of programming languages. Okay, one side is for object-oriented programming languages, other one is scripting languages. So, but I have mentioned that it is a very special programming language, right? Why it was that special means even though it was derived from scripting languages, it supports the concepts of OOPs, object-oriented programming concepts. So why it should support the concepts of OOPs? For example, so I said, so for a coin, one side is OOPs language and another side is scripting language. They are opposite to each other. They are like a competitors. Okay, they are like competitors. So if they are competitors, for example, there is two teams like CSK and RCB is there. Okay, so they are both they are have the separate fan base and they are so they will fight for this fan base, for their what we call fan teams. Okay, so a person who is a fan of RCB will support for CSK. They won't, right? Why? Because they are opposite to each other. That means here in the same way, like CSK and RCB, so object-oriented programming languages and scripting language, they are of two different teams. Okay, so if the programming language support OOPS means they should not cooperate with the scripting languages. If the programming language is derived from scripting language means they should not support object-oriented programming languages. But as it was a special programming language. So even though it was derived from scripting languages, so for the end users, the concepts of OOPS languages, object-oriented programming languages, are useful for the end users for their developmental purpose and all. Okay, it was useful for the end users. So to make them, to make the users or developers to perform their to perform their task more easier. Okay, to more easier. So they have designed Python to support the concepts of OOPS. Okay, that's why we can also mention that point in definition of Python, and it supports the concepts of OOPS, object-oriented programming systems. Okay, so what is the concepts of OOPS? I will explain those concepts. So there are majorly five concepts in our OOPS. So which we can say, if any programming language is supporting these concepts, so we can easily say it was a object-oriented programming language. So there are five major concepts in OOPS. If any programming language is supporting these concepts, so we can directly say it is a object-oriented programming language. But Python is not an object-oriented programming language. It is a scripting language, but it supports the concept of OOPS. So we cannot say Python is a object-oriented programming language. We should not say it. Clear? So it is a scripting language. That's it. But it supports the concept of OOPS. So which concepts it supports? So there are majorly five concepts in OOPS. So they are, the first one is class and object. Okay. Second one is inheritance. Okay. Third one is polymorphism. Okay. And next one is encapsulation. So encapsulation and abstraction. So I will explain one by one why these concepts are that much important. Okay. So even from the rivalry, so we cannot say rivalry, but for our comforts, I was explaining, even the programming language is derived from the rivalry programming language for the OOPS. Okay. If it was a competitor means definitely it was a rivalry, right? If there is a for example, we are having a competitor for in front of us. Definitely we see them as a rivalry, right? So definitely వాడిని మనం విలన్ గాని చూస్తాం కదండి. అదే విధంగా రైవలరీ నుంచి వచ్చినా సరే, సో ఇది ఎందుకు అది రైవలరీ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అయినా కూడా, సో వై పైథాన్ షుడ్ సపోర్ట్ దట్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ మచ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ దట్ వాస్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ మీన్స్ ఇన్ ఎవ్రీడే సినారియో ఆర్ ఇన్ ఎవ్రీడే అప్లికేషన్స్ వీఆర్ యూజింగ్, సో వీ కెన్ సీ ఆల్ దీస్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్. Okay, so class and object is, it's an area of execution programming. So why Python supports the class and object? It is not a concept, it's way of coding, nothing but of structure of coding. So in the last class I have explained the program of example program for Java, right? So in that we have written the whole program in a class, right? So that was a class. So the program class is like it's an empty field. For example, if it's a class, we can make any class in this class. Okay, it is just a classroom. Okay, so is there any mandate that we can teach only Python in this class? So based on our requirement, we can make any operations. We can use this as a dining room. We can use this as a entertainment zone, or we can use this as a lab, or we can use this as a classroom. If we are feeling asleep, if you are feeling sleepy, so we can use this room as a sleeping room, right? So based on our requirements, we use the place. We use this place. In the same scenario, class is an empty area. It is an imaginary area. So where we can write the entire our coding. Okay, so so if you wanted to call this class as a Python class, what it should have? The Python class has to be run here, right? In the same scenario, if anything written inside a class, if that logic is has to be executed means, so we should create a object for that class. Okay, nothing but of object is is the one physical entity which helps the logics inside a class to get executed. But we have not created any object in the last class, right? So for that purpose, we have written the main method. Okay. So a main method is a predefined object we can state. Okay, because without of main method, then there is no program gonna run inside Java. Okay. So we can say it is a predefined object. We can say the main method is predefined object. Until and unless if there are no main method means definitely we should create an object for that class, and we should call that methods for execution of that logic written inside the class. Okay. So for that thing, so, whenever we will enter into the concepts of oops, so I will explain more clearly. It was very easy concept and all. It's not a concept, it is the way of programming structure. So why it was selected means, so there is one notation that, there is one myth that scripting language families are not suitable for development of applications. Okay. So we cannot develop any application using of scripting languages. Why? Because the what we call, we cannot provide a, or we cannot design a secured application using of scripting language, because the access layers are very weak just because of dynamic coding. Okay. So dynamic coding means, so we will randomly write the code. So we are not at all preparing any environment there. We are not at all setting up of any environment in the, so dynamic coding. Directly we will write the code dynamically, like just like we are writing a mathematical solution on our book. ఓకే. ఒక మ్యాథ్స్ నోట్‌లో మనం ఏ విధంగా ఒక సొల్యూషన్ రాస్తున్నామో, డైరెక్ట్‌గా రాస్తున్నామో మనకు అర్థమయ్యే విధంగా, అదే విధంగా మనం డైరెక్ట్‌గా డైనమిక్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ చేస్తామండి. ఓకేనా? సో ఫర్ దట్ థింగ్, సో ద యాక్సెస్ లేయర్స్, నథింగ్ బట్ ఆఫ్ యాక్సెస్ లేయర్స్ మీన్స్, సో హూ కెన్ యాక్సెస్ ద coding, or who can access the commands inside a code or a command inside a application. Okay. The access layers are very, very weak in dynamic coding. So for that thing, so scripting languages are so not suitable for dynamic, not suitable for development of application, just because we cannot provide that secured application. We cannot develop the secured application using of dynamic programming. I'm sorry, scripting programming languages. Okay. So for that thing, so but Python is a programming language. If there is a programming language means, if it has to be the efficient programming language means, it should develop a application which is having all the security features, right? ఒక ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఎందుకు మనం వాడతామండి? ఏదైనా ఒక అప్లికేషన్ డెవలప్ చేయడానికి వాడతాం. ఒక ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఆర్ ఒక రిక్వైర్మెంట్ కి సంబంధించిన కోడ్ మనం సో పర్ఫెక్ట్ గా రాయడానికి, మనం లాజిక్ రాయడానికి ఉపయోగిస్తామండి ఒక ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అని. బట్ ఆ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ద మెయిన్ పర్పస్ పర్ఫెక్ట్ చేయకపోతే అది ఉపయోగపడదు కదా. సో ఫర్ దట్ థింగ్, even though it was derived from scripting languages, it supports the concepts of oops. So oops means, so there is okay. So whenever the application is developed from object-oriented programming language, it can definitely provide security for that application. Okay. So for that purpose only, Java is trending from whenever it was came into market. Clear? So Java is trending whenever it came into market. So just because it supports the concepts of oops, and if the programming application is developed from the oops concepts, definitely it was a secured application. It will generated as a secured application. Clear? So for that purpose, so class and object. So it is a structure of programming. So second is inheritance. So what is inheritance? The Telugu meaning of inheritance is varasatvam. Okay, that means what is the purpose of inheritance means? So the same code is reusable or code reusability. So we will write one code, and whenever we require that code, so we will call that code. Okay, we will reuse that code for a number of purposes. Okay, so we can say this is now in what we call, so in real time examples. For example, so WhatsApp is there for us, business WhatsApp is there. So at first, WhatsApp, what was the main functionality of WhatsApp when it was came into market? It's a messenger app. It's just a messenger app, right? So after that, it was introduced with calls and video calls. Later, it was introduced with providing of statuses. So later, it was there is one more domain of WhatsApp came as a business WhatsApp. So that made up we can, so we can sell our commodities, or we can grow our like a e-commerce website. So we can provide catalog inside our business WhatsApp, and we can promote our goods for the making of commerce operations. Okay, అంటే సో మనం ఈ యొక్క బిజినెస్ వాట్సాప్ వాడి మనం మన దగ్గర ఉన్న ప్రొడక్ట్స్ ని మనం అమ్మొచ్చండి, సెల్ చేయొచ్చు మార్కెట్ లో. ఉంది కదా, ఆప్షన్ ఉంది కదా బిజినెస్ వాట్సాప్ లో. ఆప్షన్ ఇస్ ప్రెసెంట్ ఇన్ బిజినెస్ వాట్సాప్. ఇట్ కేమ్ ఇన్ టు ఫోర్స్. So later, so now it came with the payments, right? So every time it was what is called, it was increasing its features, right? Every time the increasing features, but the core concept is the core concept is changing. Okay, every time new concepts are adding for the same application. That means so first a code is written for generation of or creation of WhatsApp application, and every time that code is reusing to add the new features. Okay, so whatever the concepts, whatever the context we are saving for for the making the charting and all. Okay, we can make a calls and video calls for that same context, right? కదండి. సో ఏ కాంటాక్ట్ అయితే మనం చాటింగ్ చేయడానికి మనం సేవ్ చేసుకున్నామో దానికే మనం వీడియో కాల్ ఆడియో కాల్ సెండ్ చేయొచ్చు కదా. దట్ మీన్స్ కోడ్ ఇస్ రీయూజ్డ్ దేర్, కోడ్ రీయూజ్ చేసినట్టే కదా. ఒక కాంటాక్ట్ మనం మెసేజ్ పెడుతున్నామంటే అదే కాంటాక్ట్ లో మనకి పైన ఆప్షన్స్ కనబడుతున్నాయండి కొత్త ఫీచర్స్ కి. సో అంటే ఆ కోడ్ రీయూజబిలిటీ అయిందా ఇన్ దిస్ ఫార్మేట్. సో కోడ్ ఈస్ రిటర్న్ ఫర్ పర్ఫార్మింగ్ వన్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్, అండ్ ద కోడ్ ఈస్ యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ యూజ్ n number of times for performing the another operations. Okay, so that was possible, or that is what is called, so that is achieved using of this inheritance concept. It is also interesting concept. Okay, we can easily understand this concept. So clear about inheritance. And next is polymorphism. The same concept is nothing but of, so we have we can explain this polymorphism with the same of WhatsApp example. So WhatsApp in the inheritance we have explained what we have explained a WhatsApp example for code reusability. Now for polymorphism we explain the same example. Why? Because in how means in which format means so WhatsApp is only one application which is performing multiple operations. What is the main purpose of development of WhatsApp? To provide a messenger application, but now it was making a number of functionalities. It is with the help of WhatsApp we can share the photos, we can share the we can make audio calls, we can make video calls, we can promote our businesses. So we can make the e-commerce catalog in WhatsApp, we can make the payments in future. So there is also coming, WhatsApp is planning for the food delivery, WhatsApp food delivery. Okay, that means one application is what is called designed for making one operation. With that same application we are performing n number of functionalities. That is meant of polymorphism. The full form of it's a Greek word. So it is having two words, combination of two words, poly and morphism. Poly means many and morphism means forms. The ability of a application are so the building blocks of code to execute in many other forms. Okay, so one application or one variables or one data is derived for one purpose, but so we will use those we will use the data for achieving another functionalities. Okay, so it was just an introduction. So I was just only explaining this thing. Whenever we came into this concept, definitely we will elaborate this thing and we will explain. I will explain definitely clearly. Okay, so polymorphism means so with the same application we can achieve a number of functionalities. So that was the concept of, is it usable for every program application? Polymorphism, is it useful, right? Next is encapsulation. So encapsulation means, what is encapsulation means? So we will protect the data from getting manipulated by unauthorized users. Nothing but of encapsulation and abstraction are both are used for providing of security to the application. Okay, so how encaps? So both are used for providing security to the application. So in providing of security, how encapsulation will work means it will work in safeguarding the data are the data getting manipulated by the unauthorized accesses. What is getting manipulated means changing of data. So for example, so how it is usable, right? So for example, you are having an Instagram account, right? So Instagram మీ అకౌంట్ ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ అకౌంట్ ఉందండి. సో who should access your Instagram account? Who should access? So the person who is having who is the author, nothing but of authorized person only. So who is the authorized person? A person who knows user ID and password. He is the authorized one, right? So who knows the perfect user ID and perfect password is the authorized one. So yeah, a person having both of these things can log into his account and can change the data inside it. Nothing but of having Instagram account, nothing but of having some data, right? So we'll have some personal catalog about us in our Instagram. So we'll share our photos, we'll share reels and all. Okay, so ఇప్పుడు ఆథరైజ్డ్ పర్సన్స్ కాకుండా ద పర్సన్స్ హూ ఆర్ ఆథరైజ్డ్ ఆర్ యాక్సెసింగ్ ద డేటా మీన్స్ డెఫినెట్లీ దేర్ ఛాన్స్ ఆఫ్ డేటా మ్యానిపులేషన్, రైట్? ఓకే అండి. సో మన చార్ట్ రూమ్, మన వాల్ బోర్డ్ ఉందండి. ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ వాల్ బోర్డ్ ఉంది. వాల్ బోర్డ్ లో మనకు నచ్చిన ఫోటోస్ మాత్రం మనం షేర్ చేసుకుంటాం. అలా తప్పించి మనకు నచ్చిన ఫోటోస్ కాకుండా మనకి రెస్పెక్ట్ఫుల్ గా సొసైటీలో మనకు రెస్పెక్ట్ ఇవ్వని ఫోటోస్ ఎవరైనా షేర్ చేస్తే అది మనకి ప్రాబ్లమే కదా. నథింగ్ బట్ అంటే సో వీఆర్ ద ఆథరైజ్డ్ పర్సన్ ఫర్ దట్ అకౌంట్. సో బట్ ఇఫ్ ద డేటా హ్యాస్ టు బి మ్యానిపులేటెడ్ అండ్ మ్యానిపులేషన్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఆఫ్ ఎడిషన్ ఆఫ్ న్యూ డేటా ఆర్ డిలీషన్ ఆఫ్ existing data is called manipulation. Okay, so it should be our own choice either you should manipulate or not to get manipulated. It's our own choice. So for that thing the application has to provide for us the only authorized persons can manipulate that data. Another persons should not manipulate our data. It is also security feature, right? So this security feature is so handled using of this encapsulation concept. Okay, so nothing but of it is restrict the unauthorized persons to manipulate the data inside a application. And what is abstraction? So abstraction nothing but of okay, it is a complete security. Okay, so what is secured means it will show only the required functionalities. It will hide the unnecessary details. So what is required functionality, what is unnecessary? Okay, I will explain this with the using of phone pay example. Okay, we are having phone pay, right? So for example a person named A is there and person named B is there. So person A is having 1000 rupees in his bank account and person B is having so 500 rupees in his bank account. So person A is asked to transfer 100 rupees from his bank account to B's bank account. That means so he will open his bank account, he will open his phone pay. So he will type the number of person B, a phone pay number of person B, and he will transfer that fund. So what the person is getting on his in the interface of his device. So the payment is successful if the amount is transferred. Otherwise, the payment is payment is unsuccessful. If the transaction is unsuccessful. If the transaction is unsuccessful. So these are only the two things that is he was getting, right. Or there is a third chance of in a queue. Nothing but of processing. So processing is a general word. In a technically we call it as queued. QUEED. Queued. Okay. So what is queued means? Okay, we'll discuss about it. Okay, it is nothing but of processing. Okay, these only three things we are getting whenever we are making operation with the phone pay, right? But what is the backward? It was okay. What was the back and it was running means? Whenever you are typing, you are searching, you are typing a number of your friend's phone number. Definitely, okay, friend's phone number for transfer of funds. Okay, you will your bank account will send a mail, nothing but of a request to the bank B's. Okay, your friend's bank account, your bank, you will send a mail. Sorry. So your bank will send a mail or nothing but of a information to the your friend's bank whether this account, this number is have linked with any account and all. So from there, their request will a response will come for the request. Yes, this account is this phone number is linked with this bank account. Okay, then we will get the name of our bank friend, right? So after typing the phone number, she will get the name of the bank account bank holder, right? Bank account holder, right? So that after that you will offer
Access for
for you will hello hello please speak. So is there any doubt?
Okay.
Hello, guys.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll get right. So you will offer for transferring of funds. Then again a
Okay. ఇది వేరే చోట ఆఫీస్.
what? So I didn't get your words.
Okay. Okay.
Hello. So I didn't get your
Okay.
words. He's speaking with a phone call or something. Okay. So
ఫీ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఎలా మేడం?
okay, then I'll leave it. Okay.
Okay.
Then whenever you are offering it, whenever
20?
you are offering to
Okay.
transfer the fund, then again a request will send from your bank account to his bank
ఎంత
account,
మేడం?
right? So Mr. A is wanted to send for some
Okay.
100 rupees to your bank account. Are you willing to accept that fund? Is the bank account
Oh,
is so in
మీ
our
వాయిస్
account are
వినపడట్లేదు.
working? Are you willing to take that money? Then a response will come
Okay
from
మేడం.
that B bank. Okay, from
ఇంటర్న్షిప్
that
ఏమైనా
B
ప్రొవైడ్
bank.
చేస్తారా?
That okay, so he is willing to okay. This account is capable of so receiving amount you can easily receive. Then only our amount will transfer.
ఇంటర్న్షిప్ అయితే ఏమి
Okay.
ఉండదు.
So if the response is negative from B
Okay.
bank account means so our payment will get cancelled. ఓకే. దెన్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద క్యూడ్? నథింగ్ బట్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాసెసింగ్. వై ప్రాసెసింగ్? ఎందుకు ప్రాసెసింగ్ పడుతుందంటే కనుక బికాస్ ఆఫ్ సర్వర్ బిజీ, బ్యాంక్ సర్వర్ బిజీ. ఓకే. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్
నాకు ఓన్లీ
ఇట్
కోర్స్
ఈస్ నాట్ ఎట్ ఆల్ ద
వస్తుంది.
ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఆఫ్ బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్స్. సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద సర్వర్
ఆల్రెడీ
బిజీ,
నేను
బ్యాంక్
వర్కింగ్
సర్వర్స్ బిజీ
కాబట్టి.
అండ్ ఆల్. సో బికాస్ దట్స్ మనం చెప్తూ ఉంటారు కదండి, మండేస్ అనేది ఇప్పుడు మండే మార్నింగ్స్ అనేవి అంటే
ఓకే.
ఎర్లీ అవర్స్ అనేవి ఎక్కువ కూడా బ్యాంక్ సర్వర్ బిజీగా ఉంటాయని. బికాస్ సాటర్డే అండ్ సండేస్ ఆర్ మనకి హాలిడేస్ కాబట్టి ఎక్కువ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఎర్లీ అవర్స్ ఆఫ్
నేను
బ్యాంక్స్ లో జరుగుతూ
పోర్టల్లో
ఉంటాయి.
చూసాను 11
సో ఫర్
o'clock.
ది అప్ టు 1 o'clock బ్యాంక్ సర్వర్స్ చాలా బిజీగా ఉంటాయి. ఓకేనా. సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద సర్వర్
ఓకే.
బిజీ విల్ గెట్ ద ప్రాసెసింగ్. ఓకే. సో ఇన్
ఓకే.
బ్యాక్ సైడ్ ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఇన్ బ్యాక్ అండ్ దిస్ ప్రాసెస్ is going on with whenever you want to transfer funds, but we are not are aware of this, right? We don't want this thing. We should know, we should want, we as a user we need only whether the payment is done or not. That's what our requirement, right? So abstraction is sending that, only is doing that concept. Okay. So it hides all the internal details, only functionality which only show the functionality which is useful for the user. Okay, that's what abstraction will do. Okay, all these concepts are useful for any application, right? Or not? Okay, so as these applications are useful for any application, okay, these are features are useful for all the applications. The Python will supports all these concepts. Clear about this part? So this was the definition for Python. Clear? If anyone asks you about the what is definition of Python means, you can easily say, so Python is a high level language. It's a high level interpreted user friendly dynamic programming language which is derived from scripting languages. Okay, and it supports the concepts of oops. So and you should not you should also stress a word that it is not at all a oops language. All a oops language. Not a oops language. So are you clear about the definition of Python? Okay. So now we will discuss about the what is dynamic coding. So online students, so are you clear about the definition of Python?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's explain. Let's discuss about what is dynamic coding. Okay. So in the from the very next class onwards, we will start the new topic called, okay, the very first concept of we will enter into the official concepts of Python from I think so from Monday is our next class. So from Monday onwards, so we'll start a new topic called Python tokens. It is very important topic. Why? Because so the Python tokens concept is called as the four pillars of Python. Not only Python, for any programming language. So tokens is a concept which is having four concepts, four sub-concepts. So though those four sub-concepts are called as four pillars of any programming language because so in everyday coding practice or in everyday interaction with interaction with any programming languages. So at least we will use any one of the concepts from the tokens. Without of using of any concept of token, we cannot interact with any programming language. They are like ABCs, okay, like alphabets. So if you wanted to speak in English, so definitely should be aware of alphabets, right? ABCs రాకుండా మనం ABC A to Z మనకి ఆల్ఫాబెట్స్ రాకుండా మనం ఏం చేయ మనం మాట్లాడలేం కదండి. లేకపోతే వాళ్ళు రాకుండా మనం మాట్లాడలేం కదా. In the same concept, so without of tokens concept, we cannot perform any interaction with any programming language. So in Python also we are having Python tokens. So the tokens is having four concepts. I will explain just before ending of this class. I will explain about what is tokens and what are the concepts we are having, and we will deeply discuss those concepts in the next classes. Okay. So now we'll discuss about dynamic coding. So what is dynamic coding? Dynamic coding. So why Python is having dynamic coding? Why? Because it was derived from scripting languages. So dynamic coding is the specialty of scripting languages. So what is dynamic coding means? So first of all, so we should not, so we are okay, we should not, we are not asked to present which type of data we are declaring. So which type of data we are declaring. సో మీకు చెప్పాను కదండి. సో ఇన్ జావా దేర్ ఇస్ ఏ memory area like in JVM, Java Virtual Machine and Python Virtual Machine. So in JVM we are having 5 memory locations. Okay, heap, Java stakes, PC register, native library, native stakes. Okay, these are the 5 memory locations. So based on the type of data we are presenting for the programming, okay, so that entire program is divided and it was stored in that particular or respective memory areas. But whereas coming to the Python or nothing but a Python virtual machine, there is only one memory block is there. It is called as a automatic heap area. Okay, so all the lines of code or all the data that we write in a source code of Python, nothing but of ఒక పైథాన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో మనం రాసిన డేటా మొత్తాన్ని కూడా సో మనకి ఓన్లీ ఒక మెమరీ ఏరియాలోనే స్టోర్ అవుతుందండి. అండ్ దాట్ మెమరీ ఏరియా ఇస్ కాల్డ్ సో ఆటోమేటిక్ హీప్ ఏరియా విచ్ ఇస్ ప్రెసెంట్ ఇన్ పీవీఎం, పైథాన్ విర్చువల్ మిషన్. Okay, so just because of that thing, and also I have stated a line in the last class that so the programming languages which are derived from scripting language are called a programming language with a brain. Okay, so we are not asked to spoon feed everything when we are coding. Okay, అంటే నేను ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాం కదండి. సో దట్ మనం ఒక షాప్కి వెళ్ళి షుగర్ తీసుకురామంటే మనం ఏం చేస్తామని, లేదా చిన్నపిల్లల్ని తీసుకెళ్ళి షాప్కి వెళ్ళి షుగర్ తీసుకురామంటే వాడు ఏం చేస్తారండి. అలాగా సో వీఆర్ నాట్ ఆస్క్డ్ టు present which type of data we are presenting. We are declaring nothing but what is declaring means writing. సో వీఆర్ నాట్ asked. సో దీనికి ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రాద్దామండి. ఓకే, సో ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ జావాలో ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రాస్తాను. ఓకే, we will go with the comparison format. జావాలో ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రాద్దాం. సో క్లాస్, సో అండ్ క్లాస్ నేమ్ అండ్ స్టార్టింగ్, దెన్ పబ్లిక్ స్టాటిక్ void main string args. Okay, so now I wanted to write a logic regarding for making arithmetic operation, arithmetic of addition operations. I wanted A for the value of 10, I wanted B for the value of 20, and the print statement I need A plus B. I mean 10 plus 20 I need as output. Okay, so do you know about integers? What is integers means? So we will discuss in the Python topics. So what is integers means? So a number without any decimal values. So what is decimal values means? Dots, point. For example, 5.00, 10.2, on this format. Okay. So whenever those place after dot, if there any numbers are there, so these are called floating numbers. We will discuss. This is the first concept of tokens. So we will discuss over there. Okay. So floating and integers. If the numbers, for example, the number is like this, it is integer format. If the number is like this, it is called float. Okay, so we just need integers. Okay, for a is a variable we need, and nothing but of a is equal to 10. Okay, it is not completed because a is called as a variable, a name given to the memory area where 10 got stored in the memory location. Okay, so 10 will store in some memory location, nothing but of. Okay, so that memory location is stored. Memory location means that memory location is having some address. So how means so if we are saving any file in our laptop means so whenever you are retrieving that file, you will get the address of that file, right? So in C drive, so in for example X file name, so Y sub file name, and in that memory area, okay, you will get the address of the right. So whenever we are storing this 10 value in some memory location, which it will store in some address. So if you wanted to access this value, so we need to call with that address, but it is not possible, right? Because the address is somewhat longer. So for that thing, so we will rename we will give a pet name for that address. That pet name is called variable. So here A is variable. Okay. So what is A means? So a 10 is stored in the memory location at some specific address, and to access the 10, so for that address we have given A as a name to access that one. Okay, that means so A is, can we say can the 10 is stored, is the 10 is stored in A? No, it is not stored in A. It is stored in some other location in a memory area with some other address. So we have given a rename for that address. Okay, that means so where the 10 is storing some address, and that and the address rename is A, and the item of pet name is A. Okay, so then at that address, which type of data is stored? Integer type of data. So we need to specify that int a. That means so a is storing. So I have declared a as a variable, and a is storing integer type of data. We need to spoon feed. I mean, we need to tell to the execution engine that a is storing a data of integer, and we need to end with semicolon. And after that, so again I need b. So int b equals to 20. Okay. So we have completed. Then we should write some print statement, right? System dot out dot print ln. Okay, I have explained this everything, right? So we are, you can see, so we are asking the computer cleanly, system computer. So out, provide me the output of this print ln means line. So print this line and give me the output. We are asking. Okay, that means we are spoon feedingly asking that. Okay, so this is not a script. This is not a dynamic coding. So because we are explaining it everything, we are asking very pinpointedly. We are asking the computer to provide the data for us. So system out println of a plus b and in the and end with semicolon. Then this is the this was the some code regarding to the arithmetic operator for performing arithmetic operation in Java. Okay, so here where the dynamic coding will stand means in these areas, in these areas. Okay, not in main method. So in this area, because so we are storing so integer type of data in variable a, but we should mention that. Okay, so that means so we are not asked to present which type of data we are declaring. So but here we have declared, right. So a is storing integer type of data, we have declared it. But if you wanted to write same code in Python, so we can easily write. I will explain this in Java. In Python. Okay, these are the very minor details we need to focus on. Okay, if you want to write same code in Python, so we will easily write a equals to 10, b equals to 20. So print of a plus b. So we have done with our coding. So you can see here. So have you mentioned anything like a spoon feeding? So here we declared a, which was initialized with 10 value. So have you declared that a is storing a integer type of data? Have you declared anything? So we are not asked. Why? Because it was a dynamic coding, because it was derived from scripting languages. Clear about this part? So this is the dynamic coding. That means so we are not asked to provide which type of data we are giving for the program to execute. So in this format, clear about this part. So this is the dynamic coding means. So have you clear about this dynamic coding and all? So then, so are you writing an example for this? Okay, write this example. So this is an example with Java in the same code in Python. This way. So it's not a dynamic coding. It is called a structural coding. We can say structural coding or oops coding. We can say, but it is a dynamic coding. It is an example for dynamic coding. So online students, have you understand about what is dynamic coding?
Yes.
Okay, guys. Okay, have you done with the writing of this code? This thing. Okay, then we will discuss about. So in the okay, I think there are 5 more minutes there for class. Okay, we'll take 5 more minutes extra. Okay, so Python tokens. So as I said, so it is the very first concept of any programming language. So it was Python, right? It was a Python program. We are a Python programming language we are discussing about. So it was Python tokens. So what is Python tokens? So we are having so four major concepts in Python tokens. So those four concepts are called they are not called. They can be stated as the four pillars of programming language, because so whenever we are interacting with any programming language, or whenever we are interacting with Python, so without of using any one of these concepts, so we could not make any programming approaches. Okay. So for that thing, the Python tokens, the first concept is it was keywords. Okay. Second one is identifiers. Third one is operators. And fourth one is, okay, actually, so third one is not operators, data types. And the fourth one is operators. Okay, so there is one more topic we need to discuss, but I will discuss that thing after the discussing about after explaining of Python tokens. I will discuss about the that concept. That concept is called features of Python. But whenever you got a clear view about this after clear view about this type Python tokens, then only we can discuss that thing. Otherwise, so it was like a okay, it doesn't having any meaning or sense. Because so what is the features and all. Okay, so this is the four concepts of Python. So without of using all any of these concepts, we could not interact or we could not perform any operations in Python or any programming language. If it was Java, so it was having Java tokens, Java keywords, Java identifiers, Java data types, and Java operators. Okay, this was the important topic. So we will discuss this thing in Monday class. Okay. So before that thing, so let now at now, so we will discuss about okay. So one more small concept. What are the real-time applications using Python? Okay. What are the applications that was using in Python? Real-time applications. Okay. సో రియల్ టైమ్ అప్లికేషన్ మీన్స్ సో అప్లికేషన్స్ ఇప్పుడు మనం ఈ ప్రజెంట్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్న అప్లికేషన్స్ లో ఏవి పైథాన్ తో యూజ్ చేశారండి. ఓకేనా. సో దేర్ ఇస్ వన్ మోర్ పాయింట్ టు షుడ్ యాడ్ ఇన్ టు ద దిస్ పైథాన్ డెఫినేషన్. సో బట్ ఐ వాజ్ నాట్ వై ఐ హావ్ నాట్ యాడెడ్ మీన్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయినింగ్ అబౌట్ దట్ థింగ్, that point I will add to this Python definition. Okay, so you just leave one line. Have you left any space after the writing of definition? Because there are two more points we need to discuss for the definition of Python. But whenever I mention this program, I have okay. Whenever so I mentioned that concept in definition means so you won't get a clear view about the thing. So those two concepts are discussed at the time of whenever we are discussing about Python features. It was a GUI programming language and it is a uh, platform independent language. Okay, so we will deeply discuss these concepts at the time of we are discussing Python features. So after that discussion, so we will add those concepts, those definitions too, and nothing but of those concepts also in Python definition, nothing but of. So it is a GUI programming language and it is a platform independent language. We will add both those both words in this definition. Okay, so that's why, so intentionally I have not added it here now. Okay, just you leave one space. Well, yeah, it is more than enough, but a single leg is more than enough for adding those 2 points. Okay, so what is the topic now? We need to discuss about it is real time applications developed using Python. Okay, so the first application is Instagram. So Instagram is using Python to make its operations. Okay, so Instagram is developed and using Python for its application approach and all. Okay, second one is Google. In Google, especially of Google Maps. So Google Maps run with the help of Python. Okay, so Instagram, Google, YouTube. Okay, so Instagram, Google, YouTube, and Facebook. So all these are familiar, right, for us. Okay, and Netflix. Okay, so net spelling correct na? So like Netflix. Okay, so Netflix is also developed using of Python programming language. It is also a real time example for a real time example application for Python application, Python programming language. Okay, so and one more Quora. So Quora is also one of the search engine. It is one of the search engine for searching. So it is also using of it was also developed using of Python programming language. Okay, these are all the example real time applications for Python which was used Python. So and are you clear about this part? Okay, so we can also develop games using Python. Okay, games which are developed using of Python. Okay, so Python is ఏం గేమ్ డెవలప్ చేశారు. Okay, Battleground, sorry, it's Battlefields. Okay, Battlefields, and again it was Civilization. Okay, Battlefield, Civilization, and so we are familiar with Free Fire, right? Free Fire is also is a example of application for Python. Okay, example, Free Fire is developed using of Python application. That's why it was. It is even though it was having more graphically and more data, as it was developed from the Python programming language, it is having the less memory allocation area. That matter for 300 MB or something, we will get that. With the which is competing with the PUBG, which is of 2 GB. The same features we are getting in 400 to 300 MB, 300 to 400 MBs, right? So Free Fire is also developed using of Python application. And have you heard about Disney Toontown? Disney Toontown. Okay, it's a VR game. Okay, that means whenever we use a VR, virtual reality. So we use a VR. So we means we go into this Toontown game means. So there is we get a feel of just we are in a Disneyland. Okay, మనం డిజ్నీల్యాండ్ లో ఉన్న ఫీల్ వస్తుందండి ఈ గేమ్ లో అయితే. ఓకే, అంటే బట్ ఇది కొంచెం బాగా కాస్ట్లీ గేమ్ అది. సో ప్రీమియం ఉంటుంది, బాగా కాస్ట్లీగా ఉంది. సుమారుగా ఒక 20,000 ఎంత ఉన్న సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్ అది Disney Toontown. Okay, so Disney Toontown is also developed using of this Python. Okay, and also Disney Toontowns. So not only Disney Toontown game, so we can also create cartoons using of Python also, because as it was a geographical user interface, GUI programming language. I will discuss about GUI programming language in the next class whenever we are discussing about the features of Python. Okay, so we can also create cartoon element of graphics. We can also create graphics using of Python, because Python is having some modules and all. So we'll discuss about thing. And one more point we need to add. Okay, there is one more point we need to add for the definition of Python. I will explain that thing in the next class. So we need to have a discussion about 15 minutes about the thing. Okay, I think I have already discussed about thing. So I have discussed about you about the predefined. Python is a predefined. Okay, so I will explain in the next class. Okay, so we should also add that point in definition of Python. So it is not fixed definition. Okay, so we can use all any of these concepts. At least 4 concepts is more than enough for describing definition. We can use a high level language. It is interpreted language. It is user friendly language. It is a dynamic coding language. Support the concept of hoops. It is derived from the scripting language and all. Okay, so all these things are discussed in the Python. Okay, there is no such limited definition. Is only this thing. So we can add all the features that we're gonna discuss as a definition of Python. Clear? So this is about today's class, guys. So what we had discussed in this today's class. So we have discussed about the definition of Python, and we have discussed about what is dynamic coding. Okay. So and what is OOPS concept and why Python is supporting OOPS concepts. And later we have discussed about the real-time applications using Python, and the real-time games that was developed using of Python. We have discussed. Okay. So these are the concepts we have discussed in this class, guys. So are you clear about this class? Okay, so okay, one more thing. So are you comfortable with this way of tone, I mean, this way of speed? Are you comfortable with this thing? Okay, so okay, then so I will end the online class and I will speak with you. Okay, online students, are you clear about today's class? So guys,
Yes.
please try to speak. Are you clear about today's class? Are you having any doubts regarding today's class? Hello.
No doubt. No doubt, sir.
Okay, then okay, so are you comfortable with this speed of teaching? So I think you may have faced some problems in the last 2 demo sessions regarding the my what is called my speed of teaching and all. So are you comfortable at this tone? Okay, guys. Then thank you for attending my class, Andy. So we will discuss. So in next class, we will discuss. We will discuss about the most important topic called Python tokens. So don't miss this class. Miss the class. Okay. So exactly on on Monday will be the next class, and exactly at sharp 9 o'clock. Clear, guys. So then thank you for attending my class, and have a nice day, guys. Bye.